Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network, and today is Monday, June 13th, 2022. The full moon is heading into, well, it's in Sagittarius. We're heading into the full moon. We are on the eve of Donald J. Trump's birthday, which ironically is on Flag Day. What a day! Oh my goodness. I almost felt like you guys don't need me to come on because everybody in the news is talking about what's gone on. I don't know what Fox News is saying, but curiously, they did air the hearings today, which I found very intriguing, shall we say. I feel like everything is chaos right now on the Trump front, just chaos. I do remember that in Trump's birthday of, maybe it was last year or the year before, I do remember that he makes it a big deal, like he's a child and he really wants to be, well, he wanted to be king, always, but especially on his birthday. He I think at Mar-a-Lago wanted everyone to sing happy birthday to him, and it's weird. It's very weird. So we're going to take a look at the cards and see how he's feeling right now. The Rachel Maddow and Nicole, what's her name, and Lawrence O'Donnell and Chris, what's his name? I forget. You know who I mean. Anyway, MSNBC. They're having a panel for 2 hours. Chris Matthews. And so I just sort of segued from that to this, just to give you my Psychic News Network take, since all the other networks are doing a take. We live in, this is history in the making. It's absolutely history in the making. And I had a couple of moments today where I was like, we psychics on YouTube have helped a lot of people through a lot of stuff, and we know we're appreciated, and we appreciate you, and we're all in this together. And I just want to say it's a good thing we're here together, because we need to be. It's not over. We definitely, when this is all said and done, all these hearings are said and done, everything's going to be different. And what I mean by that is I feel that this is a huge, like, you may have seen on my community page, if you can see my community page, that today, just before the hearing started, because they were delayed because Stepien, I think that's his last name, something like that, his wife went into labor, which I thought was extremely suspect. Anyway, show me the child in a day or two and then I'll be good. He better. He owes us that. So you may have noticed that I pulled 3 cards right before, and I pulled the Justice card. First I pulled the Tower. The significator was the Tower, and the Justice card, and the Death card. And really, you don't even need me to go through all this tonight, because that pretty much sums it up. But I know you're here for the details. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at how DJT is feeling right now on his birthday eve. And somebody wrote in the chat that not only is it his birthday and a full moon, he was born on a full moon in Sagittarius, and I do believe he was born on an eclipse, which certainly makes sense to me because, you know, eclipses mean, you know, like big shifts. So, you know, his purpose has been to shift America, really to shake up America from a larger perspective. So, I mean, when you look at the big picture, you've heard me say that before. And the thing is, we have to participate. One thing I know for sure is that we all choose, and the guides can help us when we choose. So we have to choose what it is that we want to see America be, and then intend it. And before I read the cards, I'm going to remind you that Tuesdays, we have 20 on Tuesdays, and on 20 on Tuesdays, it's a half an hour really, it's 7 to 7:30 Eastern Time. We visualize the America that we want to see. I lead everyone who comes through a guided meditation where we visualize what we want to see happen. It's working. Anyway. annettedion7@gmail.com. Just type 20 in the subject line, and I will shoot your name over to my assistant to get you on the list to receive the Zoom link. Today it got to be very warm. I think it was 75 degrees here. So I got the fan on. It's the unseen winds, being blown by unseen winds. The star card is the card about America. This is very challenging for Trump. And this is a win for America. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of work to do. This is shaking everything up. We're in chaos right now. Trump is in absolute chaos right now. What they basically did today was they proved that he knew full well that he did not win the election. They replayed the video from the night of the election, which we all remember so well, when he got up there. And you know what? I do remember that night. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, he gets up there, and I forget which room it was in the White House, the West Wing or something. So he gets up there and he says, "We won this election," and it's 10 o'clock at night, and the votes weren't even all in. And he said something about that we have to stop counting the votes. And I'll never forget seeing people at polling places, screaming and pounding on the doors, "Stop the count! Stop the count!" That's chaos. Anyway, so we know that he knew. And that night, that election night when he did that, I knew he was absolutely terrified, because the reality was hitting him that he could lose the election. And it was striking to me how terrified that he was that he could lose the election. I think that he knew that he had committed so many crimes to that point that he risked being, prosecuted for all the crimes. Anyway, so he's going through some challenging arguments in his head right now, is what I see. Arguing in his head. He is a Gemini, so it's like, am I in trouble? Am I not in trouble? No, I can't possibly be in trouble. Am I in trouble? No, I'm not in trouble like that. Michael Cohen told us, if Trump doesn't win the election, there will not be a smooth transition of power. He did tell us that. Please join us tomorrow if you can. We meet every Tuesday for our visualization time. It's separate from Grassroots of Democracy, but a lot of people that are in Grassroots did join us, have joined us on Tuesdays. Okay, so we're going to look at, so that's how he's feeling right now. Let's look at, like, in other words, the star is the United States. The Ace of Pentacles represents great clarity. Like we have all the resources that we need. Great focus. And the Seven of Wands was him being challenged by the power of the United States. It's us against him, So let's take a look at how Rudy Giuliani's feeling right now, just for the heck of it. We might just go down the list. By the way, I'm so proud of everybody who marched for, and rallied for gun reform. Things do get done when enough of us show up. I mentioned the other day, and I'd mentioned it before, when Madeleine Albright passed away, and I was out walking, and I kind of asked, "Oh, Madeleine, are you there? What can you tell me about, that I can pass on about what we can do to save America?" And I really got it very clearly. Madeleine Albright, who was very, very concerned about the state of our democracy and whether we would keep our democracy in America, because it's not, we're different from other countries, and it's a rarity that some country can pull off democracy the way that we have thus far. Madeleine Albright, it felt like she said, when you're out there in the millions and the hundreds of millions, they will be afraid. And I saw Trump afraid on election night. It was in his voice. If you go back and listen to that, they did show it at the hearing today, and that's when I remembered how, well, first of all, how flipped out I was that he might possibly win, even though we had all predicted that he wouldn't. He was scared. It was a disturbing combination of scared and violently angry at the same time. And his minions were like, oh, yay, yes, you won, no matter what they say. No matter, the votes haven't been counted. Stop the vote. You know, and for him to ever say, the problem is that, you know, if we take care of the votes, then we're good. I mean, the things that have come out of this guy's mouth, we have a lot of work to do in getting people to, like, have greater intelligence. I mean, to listen to that and go, oh, yeah, that's normal in a democracy. The problem is the votes? What? Yeah, I don't know. The problem is the votes in a dictatorship. Yeah, that would be a problem. Votes would be a problem. You know, it's really amazing how we live in the era of it, but it's right in front of your face. Don't you see it? You know, it's right in front of our faces. Don't we see what he's doing? I mean, in general. The people that believe him, it's like, it's right in front of your face. Don't you know that he's scamming you and conning you? And how about the way they ended the hearing today? I watched the whole thing. How about the way they ended the hearing with, how much money? Oh, I did. We'll get to the question. I did screenshot the amount of money that he stole from his followers. Let's see. Let me just give it to you. So then he started grifting about the voter fraud, right? And so let me see. Oh, these are the case filings that he lost. 9 states and D.C. are the sites of case filings between November 4th and... So all the filings that they had where they wanted to overturn the election, to claim that there was voter fraud. 62 cases, there was no fraud. Let me remind everybody. There was an election. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's fun. There was an election. And the candidate who had the most votes won the election. And in the United States of America, voter fraud has never been a big problem. And Trump lost. There. I actually saw somebody in the chat from Brian Tyler Cohen's, live stream of the hearing, and they were like, Trump lost, that's it. And, kind of being a jerk because, yeah, Trump lost. Like, as if we're supposed to just go, yeah, Trump lost and we can move on. Let's not be that short-sighted. Trump lost and our democracy is in peril. It's in really big trouble. Trump lost and our democracy is in peril. We're in really big trouble because people believe that he won. That's the problem. Remember, Putin is telling the Russians we had to get rid of the Ukrainian Nazis. So I'm not saying this to take us down because it is uplifting what we're seeing. To bring you back up again, I want everyone to recognize, just for the sake of making everyone feel better, we are so fortunate that we have these hearings going on. We are so blessed and so fortunate that we have these hearings going on. And that we don't have the Jim Jordans up there and the other ones that they were going to get on the committee that Kevin McCarthy wanted. And speaking of that, let's go to, what was I going to go to next? I get chatty and I forget where I was going next. Was I going to go to Giuliani? Let's let's go to Giuliani. Let's see what's going on with, I guess he's quite a drinker. Well, we knew that. You know, that press conference where he had the hair dye coming down his face. I mean, Rudy's in really rough shape. Let's just see what's going to happen with him. You know, you almost feel sorry for him because he obviously has a problem. And we'd feel sorry for him more if he was if he did the right thing. Like, talk about 2 lifetimes in one. He went from the mayor of the world to... That's a pretty far fall from grace. I think that's about as far as you can fall. Oh, well. So he was inebriated the night of the election, and they were making that point. You know, Liz Cheney made that point that Giuliani was inebriated, and that was confirmed by several other people that were being questioned. And the thing was that everybody was just telling Trump they couldn't find any voter fraud and that he lost the election. They kept reinforcing that and reinforcing that. So then he would just like fire them, or they would resign, they would retire because they couldn't deal with it. Because then they were complicit if they stayed, right? So they were just like abandoning ship like rats off a sinking ship. And so Trump just kept going to Giuliani. So basically, he went to the inebriated, compromised person for the truth and stuck with that. Giuliani, oh, this is bad. Giuliani doesn't know what to do. Oh, so what happened? Because, you know, I had MSNBC on all day, right? Like, I know some of you, some others of you did too. The Two of Swords. So, there was like this little breaking news, kind of a little portion of Nicole Wallace's, is that her name? Her show. And they said it was from Giuliani's office, and his spokesperson said that he wasn't inebriated, which is like, that's the only thing that you can come up with? That's the only thing you need to defend, is that you weren't inebriated? We know that he was. Anyway, the Two of Swords is that Giuliani is really between a rock and a hard place. There's no place for him to turn. I'm a little concerned about him as a human being. There's too much evidence against him. Plentiful evidence against him, and I have the death card. Now, the death card doesn't mean death necessarily, and I don't predict death, but this is it for Giuliani. Giuliani, there's no place for him to turn. Is he going to jail? His health is really bad. His liver is completely shot. I feel like Giuliani's liver is like Swiss cheese. It's bad. You know, if you drink, don't drink too much. It's really not good. Is Giuliani going to be good? I see him sentenced. Sheesh, I see him sentenced. All right, is he going to make it to jail? Is Giuliani going to make it to jail? Is he actually going to make it to jail? I see him going to jail. What we really want to know is what's going to happen to Trump, right? And my prediction has always been, I see him in court, and then I see him not in court. Like, I see him in court, and then I see him not in court. I see him feigning illness. I don't see how Donald J. Trump can feel physically well ever. Really and seriously. I don't see how he can feel physically well ever. The way he eats, yikes. For some reason it just popped into my head that I wanted to see what's going on with Peter Navarro. Because you know they're all watching. Trying to, the guy just showed me the image of a snake. You know they're all watching, and I'm just feeling sliver, sliver, sliver. So we'll see. What's Peter Navarro thinking right now, Mr. Green Bay sweep. I don't think the Green Bay Packers probably appreciate that. This is interesting. So here I'm looking at what Peter Navarro is thinking right now, and he's actually kissing up. I don't know to whom. This is weird. Okay, what's going on with Navarro right now? Navarro, now, they were wondering if Trump was delusional, because that was alluded to. And I actually feel like Navarro is delusional. Because I have these cards, and this is, but he feels like Trump is going to save him. And he's kissing up to, it looks like Ivanka, and he's just, Peter Navarro is seeing if he can rally people around that can get him off the hook. Does he really think he'll get off? Does Peter Navarro really think he'll get off the hook? He really, Peter Navarro, all right, is Peter Navarro delusional? Is he absolutely delusional? Some of these people are not right. Is Trump mentally ill? He's just a criminal. He's just a criminal. Is Trump mentally ill? See, there's a difference to me between mentally ill and having a personality disorder. Does he have a personality disorder? Does Trump have a personality disorder? Absolutely. It's not mental illness. It's a personality disorder. Like, okay, is he a sociopath? Is Donald J. Trump a sociopath? Does he have those? Not necessarily a sociopath. I've always thought that he was. Is he a malignant narcissist? He's a malignant narcissist. Well, we know that. I was just wondering if we were to do a psychiatric evaluation, it would show up malignant narcissist big time. Is Trump capable of murder? Is Trump capable of murder indirectly? Like a mob boss. Just exactly like a mob boss. Yeah, interesting. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I thought I would take a look at that. So I'm just kind of, I didn't have any particular list of questions because this has been all over the news. But I do want to see what Ivanka's thinking right now. Ivanka, I want to see, is Jared Kushner a sociopath? We're doing psychiatric evaluations with the pendulum. All right. Is Jared Kushner a sociopath? Oh, yeah. Surprised Trump didn't show up as one. Oh, yeah, that's big. Wow, that's kind of scary. Jared Kushner. There's a lot of evil in that. There's a lot of evil in that being. Okay, Ivanka. Where's Ivanka at right now? What's she thinking and feeling? Okay. Alright, so what she's thinking and feeling. She's really angry. Ivanka's really angry. Oh my goodness. She's trying to figure out how to make herself look better. And she's looking at, actually, I feel this sense about Ivanka, like, all of a sudden she's looking at, I could lose all my money. I don't know why she's thinking that. Interesting. She's really, really, really angry. Is she angry at her father? Ivanka, is she angry at her father? Is she angry at her father? Is Ivanka angry at her father? Because I'm picking up on a lot of anger. I wonder if it's Jared. I actually think she doesn't get angry at her father that often. Maybe because her father is the reason that she's rich. Maybe that. Maybe she's got too much to lose if she gets really angry at her father, Donald. Is she angry at Jared right now? Something's not going well with Ivanka and Jared. She's angry at... I see them living in separate quarters. Did I say the other day that they were going to get divorced? I think I might have said that. I don't remember what I say. I have to watch it to see what the heck I said. It's true. I watch my own videos to see what the heck I said. Believe it or not. And I really, sometimes I'm just like, wow, really? It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny way to make a living, that's for sure. Speaking of making a living doing readings, let me do my commercial break. My schedule is completely open this week. If you want a reading, you should get a reading, because readings are awesome. annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. And we'll set you up. Okay. I'm missing Lawrence O'Donnell and Rachel Maddow for you guys right now, because I had to pop in. I'll catch them later. Okay, so the outcome of this, there's another hearing on Wednesday. I think it's in the morning. I don't know why they're making it hard to find the schedule, but I'll find out. And somebody in the chat will tell me. How are things after today's hearing? Okay, how are things after today's hearing? The guides are just like, Ivanka's not mad at her father because it's going to be his birthday and she kind of feels bad for him. Flag Day. The January 6th committee, after this hearing today, the devil is clearly there. It's very disturbing to a lot of people. They brought up a lot of emotions in the American public. And they feel like as long as they keep, this is after today, the January 6 hearings today, as long as they keep the, sort of like, keep the tempo, keep the pace. It's kind of like a runner. As long as you keep the tempo, you keep everything at the right tempo, you'll do pretty well. They've hit their stride. It was pretty impeccable today too. Different because they were, it wasn't so, at least I didn't have to shut off what I was watching, because I didn't see maybe just but one violent clip, maybe two, of January 6th. When it all ties together, when you see, oh my gosh, he was lying, and then got people so angry because he lied for months and months and months, saying Democrats are stealing elections. What's really frightening is how you can get that many people to believe a lie, like Hitler, just like Hitler. There's an amazing psychology to that, and Putin, and the others. Okay, so we looked at Giuliani. We looked at the January 6th hearings today. Maybe we'll flip to the Republicans that are watching, the Republicans that were part of it. They know the day is coming when the January 6th committee and the guides are saying, they're already ready with, they're saying, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. However, the videos and the evidence will be right there. Then what, right? The videos and the evidence will be right there, so then what? I'm thinking of Kevin McCarthy specifically at the moment. What's Kevin McCarthy thinking? They are really, this is really... So I got this for Navarro, now I'm getting this for Kevin McCarthy. What they're thinking right now. We're going to kiss up to the emperor who has no clothes. Same exact cards came up from McCarthy and Navarro. They're in the same, they have the same playbook. Okay, now we just kiss up to the king. We just kiss up to the emperor who has no clothes on. Unfreaking believable. The Four of Cups, they're missing, they're really dumb. I don't think Kevin McCarthy can even figure out what the heck is going on. Like, he's in big trouble and he can't he's got his mind on, I just want to be speaker. I just want to get the gavel and pound Nancy Pelosi's head. I'm telling you. I'm glad we're here together, because we can all, like, go crazy together, right? Let's go crazy, like Prince said. But Kevin McCarthy and the other Republicans that were involved, kissing up to Trump. It's exactly the same thing as Navarro. They're calling him up. Oh, well, you know, I'm sure they're like, happy birthday, sir. Tomorrow, they're getting ready. Happy birthday, sir. They're probably all going to call him up. All his minions, all his people that kiss his orange you-know-what are going to be showing up at Mar-a-Lago or calling him and just telling him how absolutely wonderful that he is and how they're so glad for the day he was born. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but it's just unbelievable. I got the exact same 2 cards. It's just, it's crazy, I tell you. How is Mitch McConnell feeling? We're just going to go through a little bit of the list here. How is Mitch McConnell feeling? This is how Mitch McConnell is feeling. Good Lord. This is how Mitch McConnell is feeling right now. I mean, I think Mitch McConnell knew what they were up to. I don't think Mitch McConnell thought that they would go so far as a full-on insurrection on January 6th. But Mitch McConnell was fully aware that Trump was just going to lie, and he went right along with it. This is Mitch McConnell. This is bad. So I got the death card for Giuliani and the death card for Mitch McConnell. The plot thickens, I tell you. It's just getting more interesting. Is Mitch McConnell's health in peril? Mitch McConnell is not healthy right now. Now, I said the same about Clarence Thomas a while ago, too, so. But Mitch McConnell is, I think the stress is getting to be a lot. I can see Mitch McConnell in front of the cameras fumbling his words quite a bit. And they're avoiding the camera quite a bit, too. Is Mitch McConnell, even though I don't predict death, is he going to be, I'm not going to say, is he going to die? I'm just going to say, is Mitch McConnell going to have to step down due to health, because of health reasons? I'm kind of getting, I'm getting that Mitch McConnell is going to have to, I feel like his health is going to take a hit. Because this is the 8 of Swords and the Death card and the 7 of Cups, not good. You know, karma is a bitch. I'm telling you. Mitch, karma's a bitch. You don't have to pray for people that are evil if you don't want to. You know, there are people that actually think that they have to, like, oh, well, you know, we have to send light. And it's like, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Anyway, I won't get into all that. That's for Church of Spirituality. Please watch Church of Spirituality, even if it's Tuesday. Every Sunday at 1, live. I put a lot of work into it. Like I said before, out of all the things I do, that's the thing that is most important to me, and all that I do to me is important. So I won't go on about, you know, what Jesus actually meant when he said love your enemies, because we're not having a Bible study right now, and it's not a Bible-y church, just so you know. Lauren Boebert, so Texas Paul is on the Midas Touch. I highly recommend subscribe to the Midas Touch. Texas Paul, speaking of people that were involved in the insurrection, he was talking about Lauren Boebert. And I don't know where this story came up from, but there's a story that he tells. I'll share it on my page. If I haven't already, I don't think I did. No, I didn't. About Lauren Boebert being in a Jeep going, I don't know, 4-wheeling or something. In the desert or something. I don't know exactly where, the Moab something. Anyway, sorry, I'm blabbering about that. I don't know the exact location. Anyway, the gist of the story is that this is before she got elected, which she has no business being in any position of leadership. She was with family members and she was driving crazy, and she jumped out of the vehicle and let the vehicle hit a rock. And I heard that her child was in the vehicle and her sister-in-law, I think it was. Anyway, I will share it on my community page if you have access to my community page. And then he said, this woman, you know, do you think she'll care if, say, I don't know, a company wants to dump toxic chemicals into your drinking water? He really made a good point. So we've got to be involved. And the January 6 hearings are going to give us all that shot in the arm, so to speak, to just get us to get off our butts and to get involved. It will have that effect on us. And, you know, it's not lost on me that I think about the people, the insurrectionists, getting as horrifying as it was. I mean, to the equivalent that they were so dedicated to the emperor who has no clothes. To just so dedicated and dug in to support him. We need that on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like they were that invested in that darkness and that evil, and they were so committed to it. We need to be that committed to the good and more. I know people think it's a gentler energy, but love is the most powerful force in the whole entire universe, you know. Who else do we want to ask about? Well, while we're at it, today was so full of stuff. Today, let's take a look at, we'll look at Merrick Garland. I promised that the other night, but sometimes I don't want to look at Merrick Garland because he's so hidden. But we will. So, is a message that Donald Trump exactly knew, this is a pendulum question, exactly knew what he was doing and exactly knew the truth. Is that message going to resonate with most of the American population? The news that he absolutely knew, is that going to resonate? He knew that there wasn't any voter fraud. Is that going to resonate with the American people, the majority of the American people? That's a yes. It's going to resonate with the majority of the American people that Donald Trump knew that he lost. So curious about Fox today letting the hearings be shown. I'm not sure who was parroting or, you know, what talking heads were there to counter what was being said. But I mean, there was Republican upon Republican. Even Liz Cheney's opponent in Wyoming, the dude that had to leave because his wife went into labor. We should look at that, right? Was she really having a baby just right then? Might have been a false alarm. But anyway, he's working on the campaign for Liz Cheney's opponent in Wyoming. I don't know names. I have to look that up. But so all these people that were on Donald Trump's side, because he was part of Donald Trump's campaign, Stepien. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. I think that's right. So they were all saying the truth. So what's Fox News saying about that? Okay, let's ask. That's why we're here, right? Oh, Prince of Pentacles just flipped over. Wow, the guides just said there's a part of they're having big meetings. Fox is having big meetings about how to approach these hearings. I'm seeing a lot of bickering. We should do this. No, we should do that. No, so somebody won the argument about running the hearings today. So much I'm curious about that I want to find out more about. I'm going to have to see what they were saying. Oh, interesting. So Fox knows that they, this is Fox. I see Fox losing billions of dollars. And then the Prince of Pentacles. I have this sense that this is going to shake things up for Fox really badly, because the people that are going to come to know the truth, and the truth shall set them free, are going to start turning on Fox. I know, I'm not just saying this to make everybody feel good. I'm actually seeing this. Like, why did you guys all lie to us? Not everyone, obviously, but the ones that were on the fence to begin with. And then I see a new energy coming into Fox. Not that they're going to be all, like, you know, reasonable. But I do see a pause button being hit at Fox. I see a regroup thing going on at Fox. It's really interesting. And the guys just said Kayleigh McEnany is in big trouble. Ooh, there's a lot of people in really big trouble that we're going to find out about very soon. Can't wait for Wednesday. It's like really good TV. Telling you. If you're watching it all the time, you know, just don't feel bad. Just know that we're living in a really historic time. And, you know, just like Watergate, you know, the whole nation was tuned in. Like Rachel Maddow was just saying, in those days, the hearings were during the day. I didn't know this. In those days, the hearings were during the day, and they didn't, of course, they didn't have all this YouTube and, you know, 24-hour news. It's crazy, the times we live in, honestly. So at night, she said Walter Cronkite would, no, it was PBS would cover it at night so people could see it, because it happened, the hearings for Watergate happened during the day. I was watching, I love Curiosity Stream, the app, just a little side note, and I was watching, there was a program, a documentary about famous, like, composers from the 1970s that composed soundtracks, like John Williams, you know, like the Jaws theme and everything, and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Spielberg and George Lucas, Star Wars. John Williams, what an amazing composer. Anyway, so they showed, I don't know if John Williams did the music for this one, because they covered different composers that composed soundtracks, but they showed a clip of All the President's Men with Robert Redford, and I'm going to watch that. Because it's just, it's fascinating what's going on right now, and it just reminded me of that movie. Anyway, I digress. So, where we are right now, let's go to Merrick Garland. Let's go to Merrick Garland. I'm afraid to go there. The guides just said, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. He's got it. And I had said before that Merrick Garland was going to wait. Remember, this is months ago. I said Merrick Garland was going to wait. Because he was waiting and waiting and waiting. And he doesn't show his cards. He does have a poker face. He's waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's waiting till all the information gets out in front of the American public before he's going to do what he's going to do and say what he needs to say. I've felt that all along, and I've never felt like Merrick Garland was not working hard. So when I saw the clip from All the President's Men, I saw them, you know, like doing all the research about Watergate and the hearings and for the hearings and everything. And that's what I felt like, wow, Merrick Garland, the people are working so hard. So hard. They've been working their butts off. That's why I said we are so fortunate to have a January 6th committee doing these hearings, because the alternative, we can't even think about it. This is the law. This is the card of the law. This is, yeah. These cards feel really clear. People will go to jail. People will go to jail. Let's just ask, will Donald Trump go to jail? Will Donald J. Trump go to jail? Will Donald J. Trump go to jail? Not at first. It's saying yes. Complicated. It's very complex. One more thing and I'll let you go. We're going to switch topics and we're going to see, even though I already read on it, and even though people are hopeful about this, you know, gun violence being at least addressed, my God, none of the Republicans that are up for re-election are voting for it. They don't want to ban assault weapons. It's sick. It's a very sick thing. It actually makes me feel sick to think about it. The death card again. So this is about gun reform legislation. Okay, let me just put it like this. It looks like it's going to get shot down. No pun intended. It looks like the gun reform is not going to pass. They're still going to be balancing it out, but during the time that the American people, 90% of the American people want some gun reform, some laws, some restrictions. It not happening is the Republicans that are not voting for some, like background checks or limits on age, and the Republicans that are not having any of it, they're really on a slippery slope. It looks like the women will take over. What I mean by that is, you know, the energy of the women. Like, I always get moms demand action. I always get, you know, these mamas that have lost their babies. It's just, let's ask something. It's going to be really bad for the Republicans that won't vote for gun reform. Is it going to be, is anything going to pass? Something will pass, and I've been saying that I see one, like background checks or something like that passing. Is it going to be background checks? It's kind of going wonky on that, but it looks like yes. It was kind of like revving up to, it's going to be background checks. Ban on assault weapons, is that going to pass? It's not expected to. No. Can you believe it? Okay, I don't want to keep you here for an hour, so I'm just going to shut it down now, and I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll be back on Wednesday, and get into the news. Enjoy the full moon in Sagittarius. If you're a Sagittarius like me, it's a really good time. Have a good time. And Wednesday I'll be back with Corey, so I'll probably pop in during the day and do a short video. We'll see. It's like, play it by ear. I love you guys. You're really special. Thank you for being involved. To join Grassroots of Democracy, you know the drill. grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. Type AYE in the subject line. That's how they vote in Congress. And have a beautiful summery time, if it's summer where you are. If you're in the southern hemisphere, have a really nice wintry time, or fall. Namaste. See you soon.